What do you believe your current public image is? I'm not sure, and I don't really care. I've never been concerned about rock and roll, sex, drugs, or anything else. Welcome back to our channel. Mick Jagger, a name synonymous with glamour and the deafening cheers of crowds on the world's greatest stages. He is the eternal icon of rock and roll, the embodiment of rebellion and freedom. But behind those dazzling lights lie wounds that have never truly healed, tragedies that cut deep into the soul of the artist. Have you ever wondered, behind that defiant smile and confident demeanor, what has Mick Jagger had to sacrifice? On February 12, 1967, the arrest of Mick Jagger and Keith Richards was not just a shock, but the first blow from a conservative society aimed at young people daring to challenge the status quo. It was an unequal battle: on one side power and prejudice, on the other the roaring voice of youth and a desire to break all limits. That battle opened a new and stormy chapter in MC Jagger's life, transforming him from a young artist into the most formidable rebel of his generation. But those storms were only the beginning. Broken loves, the loss of friends, and scandals weaving around him like a spider's web forced Mick Jagger to grapple with fame and loneliness. What did he do to overcome such personal tragedies and societal condemnation? What makes a man who seemingly has it all endure some of life's darkest moments? Join us as we explore every obscure detail, every suffering, and every victory in Mick Jagger's life. This is not just the tale of a rock star. It is also the tumultuous journey of a man who dared to live, love, and confront the darkest shadows of his soul in his early years. Born in Dartford, Kent, on July 26, 1943, Mick Jagger came from a normal middle-class British household at the time. His father was Basil Fanshawe. With a father who was an excellent teacher and a mother who loved music, Mick had a childhood full of sounds and emotions. Joe Jagger was a well-known physical education teacher who was known for his discipline and dedication to his work. His mother, Eva Ensley Mary, was a Sydney native who had a passion for the arts and frequently played jazz and blues records in their tiny house. Although his family did not actively oppose him, they were unable to fully comprehend the extent to which music would take Mick from a young age. Mick was raised in a culture that valued discipline and creativity, but in a society that valued steady and practical careers. Pursuing music was never seen as a safe path. While his peers participated in sports under his father's tutelage, Mick Jagger demonstrated his individuality by spending hours beside an antique radio and singing in the church choir. The Chuck Berry melodies, his private world, consisted of Little Richard and Muddy Waters. He believed that passion was a summoning from deep within, a force rather than the result of revolt. The most important turning point in Mick's childhood, he felt, was meeting Keith Richards at Wentworth Primary School in Dartford. At first, they didn't have many opportunities to bond until they met at the Dartford railway station one day in 1961. Keith was carrying a stack of records by Chuck Berry and Muddy Waters, and Mick's eyes lit up. From that moment on, a friendship and legendary musical partnership blossomed as if fate had predestined it. While attending the London School of Economics SE to study finance and accounting, Mick was on the path many considered safe and proper, but in his heart, music remained irreplaceable. By day, he was a conscientious student, but at night, he immersed himself in London's live music clubs, where rhythm and blues was experiencing a powerful resurgence. During this period, Mick the Rolling Stones were founded by Keith Richards and Brian Jones, whose early performances at the Marquee Club in London under the moniker the Rolling Stones were impromptu and brimming with youthful vigor. Despite their modest beginnings, Mick already recognized the power of music as a unifying force that could ignite a fire and unite people. From a bright-eyed child in Dartford with a dream-filled heart, his fateful meeting with Keith Richards and those blue-soaked nights in London laid the groundwork for a monumental career in which Mick Jagger would become the soul of the Rolling Stones and an irreplaceable icon in the world of rock and roll. MC Jagger's early career began in the early 1960s as the British music wave surged to prominence. There was no loud rebellion or dramatic clash with his family, just a quiet but unwavering determination to turn his passion into reality. The Rolling Stones emerged as a bold contrast to the polished image of their contemporaries. Deeply inspired by American R&B and blues, they entered the scene with a rugged, wild, and somewhat rebellious style, something the conservative society of the time was far from ready to embrace. They began with small performances in London's music clubs where cigarette smoke and music intertwined in cramped spaces. MC Jagger, with his confident stage presence and powerful vocals, quickly became the focal point. Yet their path was far from paved with roses. They faced mounting financial struggles, often earning meager wages, barely enough to get by in their tiny crowded apartments. Instead of being disheartened, the Rolling Stones used these hardships as motivation to push forward. In their early days, the indifference of record labels and harsh criticism from music reviewers posed significant challenges. Their rhythm and blues style, combined with their rebellious image, was deemed too different and unlikely to fit into mainstream music trends. However, Mick Jagger and the band members never wavered in their belief in their music. They stayed true to their chosen path, undeterred by the public skepticism. At the time, the Beatles were dominating the entire British music market, presenting a considerable challenge for any band trying to make a name for itself. Yet rather than trying to defeat their rivals, the Rolling Stones chose to differentiate themselves. They delved deeper into blues influences, highlighting their image as a rebellious band unafraid to challenge norms. It was the perfect contrast to the Beatles' friendly, likable persona. The Rolling Stones' first significant breakthrough came in 1965 with their hit song, I Can't Get No Satisfaction. With its bold melody, defiant lyrics, and Keith Richards' signature guitar riff, the song became an anthem for a generation. It swiftly shot to the top of the charts, catapulting the band from small clubs to the pinnacle of international stages. The song was not only a commercial success, but also a potent declaration of their raw, daring, and uncompromising musical style. From the days of fighting to make ends meet while performing in tiny clubs to the moment of satisfaction that reverberated across stages all over the world, Mick Jagger later reflected, that was the moment we realized all the struggles were worth it. Despite what people said, we had accomplished what we believed in. The Rolling Stones demonstrated that passion and perseverance could turn adversity into motivation, that success was not just the result of talent, but also a story of courage and determination to overcome all. By the midnight 1960s, when the Rolling Stones emerged from their early shadow of performing covers and rose to fame, Mick Jagger and Keith Richards were showcasing an explosive songwriting partnership under the direction of Andrew Lug Oldham, overcoming obstacles to open a brilliant new chapter for the band career, success, and solo ventures. Beyond being mere performers to become true songwriters, delivering sharp and unique compositions, the initial success of The Last Time in 1965 marked this turning point, but it was the smash hit I Can't Get No Satisfaction that propelled the Rolling Stones to global iconic status. During this peak, Jagger, with his confident demeanor and commanding stage presence, turned the Rolling Stones into a formidable counterpart to the Beatles, representing the wild and rebellious spirit of youth. However, their path to success was not without severe upheavals. By the late 1960s, legal troubles and public scrutiny surrounding drug allegations resulted in the arrests of Jag and Richards. Internal band tensions escalated, particularly with Brian Jones, who left the group due to his struggles with addiction and tragically drowned in 1969. This period brought deep sorrow to Jagger, who somberly admitted losing Brian was a huge shock to all of us. It was a stark reminder of how fragile life can be. Tragedy struck again at the Altamont Free concert in 1969. Once hoped to be the Woodstock of the West, it turned into a nightmare as violence erupted, leading to the shocking death of Meredith Hunter. The incident cast a dark shadow over the band and symbolized a broader cultural disillusionment. Reflecting on Altamont, Jagger admitted that it served as a wake-up call, forcing us to face the terrible realities of loss and the fact that our actions and music had actual repercussions. In search of comfort and a new beginning, Jagger and the band helped Ed go forward into a new decade. In the midst of a changing cultural landscape, Jagger bought Star Groves, a manor in Hampshire that served as a creative haven for the band as they entered the 1970s. Their songwriting sessions at Star Groves, assisted by the Rolling Stones mobile studio, signaled a creative renaissance. Important albums like Sticky Fingers and Exile on Main Street were released during this time, and Jagger noted that these records were inspired by our victories and hardships and captured our spirit, which refused to give in to the chaos of the outside world. Keith Richards' struggles with drug addiction and the band's breakup with manager Alan Clean were among the personal and professional difficulties of the early 1970s. The band's decision to leave England in order to avoid crippling taxes showed their flexibility and determination to maintain both financial and artistic stability. Self-reliance. Jagger said that in order to stay true to yourself, you sometimes have to make difficult decisions. It's about surviving and standing by your principles, just like the Rolling Stones. A remarkable accomplishment. While comparisons to the Rolling Stones were unavoidable, Jagger's solo journey began in the mid-1880s with the album She's the Boss. He saw this as an opportunity to explore new creative directions rather than abandoning the band. as he once stated that going solo wasn't about leaving the Stones, but rather about challenging myself and expanding my artistic boundaries. The Stones will always be a part of me. The album marked a fresh transformation with Jagger exploring modern sounds that blended pop-funk and rock. Notable tracks like Just Another Night and Lucky in Love achieved significant chart success and confirmed Jagger's talent as an independent creative force. Despite not being as commercially successful as anticipated, Jagger's subsequent solo release, Primitive Cool 1987, showed his dedication to experimenting with new sounds. Songs like Let's Work and Say You Will expressed optimism and his unwavering will to keep moving forward. In the 1990s, Jagger further cemented his solo career with Wandering Spirit, which is regarded as one of his best solo works. The album received high appreciation from both fans and critics for fusing parts of classic rock and blues soul, transporting listeners to Jagger's musical roots songs like Evening Gown and Sweetheart Don't Tear Me Up. In addition to being a commercial triumph, the record confirmed Jagger's status as a complete independent artist with limitless creative potential. Along with working with well-known musicians like Bono, Jagger also ventured into collaborations like as his famous duet with David Bowie on Dancing in the Street 1985, which became a defining song of the 1980s. Lenny Kravitz and Peter Tosh demonstrate his capacity to collaborate and produce work in a variety of genres. Visions of Paradise and God Gave Me Everything, two songs co-written with Lenny Kravitz, are among the experimental and modern songs on Jagger's fourth solo album, Goddess in the Doorway, which was released in 2001. Although the album did not sell well, it was praised for its sonic diversity and audacity in showcasing Jagger's continuous quest for artistic renewal. Taking out outdated molds beyond music, Mick Jagger made a big impact on film and television. His first performance in 1970 as the multifaceted rock star Turner demonstrated that he could be just as captivating on screen as he was on stage. He then furthered his acting career in 1970 by playing the iconic Australian outlaw in Ned Kelly. As Ned Kelly entered the 2000s, Jagger dabbled in film production. He produced the documentary Being Mick 2001 and was an executive producer for HBO's critically acclaimed series Vinyl 2016, which examined the New York music industry in the 1970s. His roles in the sci-fi movie Freejack 1992 and The Man from Elysian Fields 2001 further demonstrated his varied acting abilities. With each project, Mick Jagger not only confirmed his musical brilliance but also established himself as a multi-talented artist who consistently pushed his own boundaries in search of new artistic challenges. Jagger's acting career is evidence of his spirit of invention and exploration, making him a legend in a variety of artistic fields in addition to theater. Private life. Like his public character, Mick Jagger has a colorful and complex personal life that includes high-profile marriages and a huge blended family. Frequently, his romantic life has garnered just as much attention as his musical career. In the late 1960s, Jagger's first notable public relationship was with Marianne Faithfull, a well-known singer and actress. Their romance became emblematic of the rock and roll lifestyle of the era, captivating the public's attention as both were influential figures in fashion and music at the time. In 1971, Jagger married Bianca Perez Mora Massas, a social activist from Nicaragua who was incredibly beautiful and elegant. Their lavish wedding in Saint-Tropez, France, was attended by a number of well-known people, further solidifying Jagger's reputation as the aristocrat of rock and roll. Jagger's path into fatherhood began with this marriage, which gave him his first daughter, Jade. However, the pair split in 1978, possibly due to the strain of fame and infidelity. The most significant relationship Jagger had was with Texan model Jerry Hall, whom he met in 1976. The two grew closer over time, and in 1990 they were married in a symbolic but unofficial ceremony in Bali. Together, they had 4 children. Although Elizabeth James, Georgia May, and Gabriel are evidence of their enduring bond, Jagger's complicated life and the legal ambiguity surrounding the Bali ceremony caused them to split up in 1999, ending a highly publicized romance that captivated the public and media for years to come. His relationship with fashion designer Loren Scott, which started in 2001, and became a vital element of Jagger's life by giving him stability and creative inspiration in the middle of the craziness of rock and roll and fashion, was the most notable aspect of his ongoing love life. In addition to being Jagger's partner, Loren Scott was also his muse confidant and, as Jagger once put it, his best friend and lover. Scott's presence gave his life balance and purpose, which was evident in his mannerisms and artistic endeavors. Her untimely suicide in 2014 was a sad blow to Jagger. Following Scott's death, Jagger experienced anguish that went well beyond the loss of losing a spouse. As his relationship with Melanie Hamry, a gifted ballet dancer, began after his breakup with Loren Scott, which marked a new chapter in the rock star's life, Jagger withdrew from the public eye in an attempt to process and overcome the loss of the woman he deeply loved amid the storms of his romantic life. Hamry, significantly younger than Jagger, brought new inspiration to his life, demonstrating that love knows no bounds when it comes to age. Jagger is the father of 8 children with 5 different women, which paints a complex and varied picture of his personal life. His youngest son, Deo, was born to ballet dancer Melanie Hammer, and his oldest daughter, Karis, was born to actress Marcia Hunt. Each of his children has followed their own path, encompassing acting, fashion, and music, reflecting the wide range of influences they encountered during their upbringing. From fiery, passionate romances to tragic losses, Mick Jagger's personal relationships have influenced his public persona, creating a picture of a man who loved deeply and endured great pain. These aspects, along with his legendary musical career, paint a complete picture of MC Jagger as more than just a legendary rock star. He is a complex person who constantly works to overcome obstacles in his personal relationships. His current life and legacy show that, at 80 years old, he is still a timeless icon of rock music and popular culture. Even at this age, he continues to exhibit remarkable vitality, performing with the Rolling Stones in 2024. On the Hackney Diamonds tour, Jagger and the band promoted their first studio album in 18 years, which was released in 2023. They performed timeless hits like Satisfaction and Painted Black, as well as brand new songs that demonstrated their unwavering inventiveness and extraordinary fortitude. Offstage, in contrast to his fiery rock star persona on stage, Mick Jagger has found peace in his personal life with his current partner, the talented ballet dancer Melanie Hamry, and their young son, Deo Octavian Basil Jagger. Since Deo's birth in December 2016, Jagger has shown a different side of himself as a loving father who values simple, precious moments with his family. To keep his incredible energy at 80, Jagger follows a rigorous fitness regimen that includes dance exercises, running, and regular workouts. Over the course of a career spanning more than 50 years, Mick Jagger has evolved from a remarkable vocalist to a talented songwriter, seasoned producer, and enduring cultural icon. His combination of a powerful voice and captivating stage presence propelled him and his band to the top of the global music charts. He once said, "The stage is my home. As long as I have the strength, I'll keep performing." Beyond producing timeless hits like Satisfaction and Painted Black, Jagger has been instrumental in influencing music culture through his dynamic live performances and highly regarded albums. The Rolling Stones' success is a tribute to not only his individual brilliance, but also to the unity and unwavering commitment of all the band members, who have received prestigious honors like the Order of the British Empire, multiple Grammy Awards, and induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. MC Jagger has received praise for his significant and indisputable contributions to popular culture and the music business. From a boy in Dartford enthralled with the sounds of blues to an enduring rock and roll icon, Mick Jagger has survived a journey full of hardships, tragedies, and victories. He not only helped the Rolling Stones become one of the greatest bands of all time, but he also established himself as an independent artist with an unrelenting spirit of creativity. The highs and lows of his life, from the loss of friends and public pressures to the brilliant moments on stage, have forged a resilient, unbreakable spirit of creativity. His legacy will continue to reverberate in the hearts of fans not only through timeless melodies. What do you think of Mick Jagger's turbulent yet glorious journey? Which of his or the Rolling Stones songs has had the biggest impact on you? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to join us as we continue to uncover untold stories of music. MC Jagger is not just a rock star. He is a symbol of rebellion, freedom, and an unbreakable spirit. His legacy is defined not only by timeless songs like I Can't Get No Satisfaction and Paint It Black, but also by the image of an artist who dared to challenge all conventions, confront the darkness, and find light. Goodbye.